Good evening. It is the duty of the Security Council to address the gravest humanitarian crisis. As co-pen holders, Belgium and Germany are relieved that a compromise has been reached to ensure cross-border access in northwest Syria. We have voted together with the overwhelming majority of the Security Council for this compromise. This access is a lifeline for millions of people. The UN organizations could not have been clearer. This lifeline is indispensable. With COVID-19 threatening refugee camps filled with 2.8 million people, internally displaced people, humanitarian access is all the more important. One border crossing is not enough, but no border crossing would have left the fate of an entire region in question.
We have negotiated morning till night with Russia and China, who have argued and have underpinned with their votes this week that this single crossing could serve more than 80% of humanitarian needs. This argument clearly puts aside humanitarian considerations and ignores the needs of hundreds of thousands of Syrians. We cannot and should not underestimate the needs on the ground in Syria. As we have said from day one, we would vote for as many border crossings as possible. We are convinced that the majority of Security Council members would do the same. Our best path forward is to keep this mechanism alive for the next year. We cannot abandon northwest Syria. Thank you very much.
Can we have questions, Ambassador?
Yes.
It's James Bays from Al Jazeera. What is your message after this period of negotiation and a resolution that clearly is a watered down decision in terms of what it's delivering? What's your message to the people of Syria?
Marc?
Well, thank you, James. I would say we've tried our best. We've worked tirelessly in order to be able to renew this mechanism. And well, we accomplished that, although of course we would have wished to have much more crossing points. Clearly that was not possible, but we tried, every possible options, every avenue. And that's the final compromise that, in our view, was the only one possible. So that's what we can say to the people, to the Syrian people.
And to the Ambassador of Germany, both of you have very long diplomatic careers. How frustrating has this been, and how would you describe the atmosphere now among council members?
Well, one of the positive things here in the Security Council is that between members of the Security Council, there is an atmosphere which allows you to always speak to each other, to try to find a solution, because this is our obligation as diplomats. Even in their harshest situations, even if the tensions are unbearable almost, you continue to speak to each other. And Marc and I have achieved that, and we have achieved that within the Security Council. But on perhaps a bit more deeper into your question, Marc just said it. We worked for weeks to prepare it, and we worked the last week around the clock. Our teams worked around the clock, and in the session which just ended, the Russian deputy ambassador described the way that Marc and I worked as clumsy. And this shows the profound differences we have. Germany, Belgium, 13 countries from St. Grenadines to Vietnam, all were in favor of our option that we put to the Council, where we put the humanitarian needs first, where we wanted to see to it that all the people in the northeast and the northwest get the necessary food. And you have two countries for whom I must say now humanitarian considerations don't play a role. And this is something which I find disgraceful and which I really deeply regret. But to come back to your first question, and this is what we did for the whole week, we will never give up our humanitarian attitude. We will never give up and will never give up to try and work and see to it that the that the people on the ground get the aid. And now when you look at Belgium and Germany, European Union, we are the largest donor for humanitarian aid. And ask our Russian and Chinese how much they provide in humanitarian needs. And then to say that if we fight for it, it's hypocrisy or it's clumsiness, I just must regret it, but I find it very sad. Thank you. Any other questions? I think, James, you're the only one who has a question. So if there are no other questions, I think, Marc, we are now so used to work 24 hours. I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow. No. Okay.
Thanks, Ambassadors. Have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.